Hi, I'm Pam with MA Crafts, and today I'm going to start part 2 of my kitchen cabinet series. Now for this one, I'm going to be building another tall cabinet, but it won't be quite as large as the last one. It's going to be more like 12 inches, 11 inches wide, and that's going to house my tall pantry in the bottom, and I'll just add a cabinet to the top, maybe put some drawers in it, so I'll just need to cut the holes for that. But I'm going to start with this one piece of plywood. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to take off the jagged edge at the end. It's not really that jagged, but I'm going to cut it off just to make sure it's square. And then I'm going to cut 23¼ inch, 2 of those panels, and then I'll cut the height to what I need it, put those as my side, and then start building the rest from there. So let's get to cutting. Our next step is to cut the 3/4 inch dado at the bottom right above the toe kick so that we can put that board to steady it. And then we will be cutting 1/4 inch dados down the sides for the back panel. And that should do it besides the toe kick. And then these cabinets, almost done. Still need to cut the holes out for the shelving at the top of this. But other than that, we're getting close. We'll also need one more 3/4 inch dado up at the top of the tall pantry, wherever it's going to be. I haven't measured yet. We're going to need one more 3/4 cut dado, and that should take care of the 2 sides. So here's a couple of tips that I've learned from using the plunge router. First thing that I do is once I know where I want the dado to reside, I measure 3 inches up from the bottom of that, and that gives me that 3/4 inch, at least for this one. It's a little different measurements depending on the depth and the width of your the dado. But for me, and this one, I'm doing the 3/4, so I'm going 3 inches down. And then another thing I do on my routers, I plunge it down to where it's just touching the surface, and then set that at the top. And then I make 3 passes through this, and each time going lower. And once I get to the 3rd pass, that gives me that 1/4 inch depth that I'm looking for. I can't say enough about these little blocks. I use them all the time now that I have them. So basically, once I cut the 1/4 inch depth in it, I can put it down in the hole and see that it's perfectly lined up to be 1/4 inch all the way across. So very helpful little blocks. The next cut we're going to make is another 3/4 cut dado, and it's going to be the top of the tall pantry. So let's get cutting. Now that we've cut the 3/4 inch dado at a quarter of an inch deep, let's check it. And again, it's a good measurement, so we're good to go with these two. Now we're going to cut out one more for the very top, and I want it to go underneath the left side about a ½ inch or so, maybe 3/4, and then that would give us room at the top to add our crown molding. So we have completed cutting the 3/4 inch and a 1/4 inch dados, and now we're going to cut or drill the holes for the shelving. So we're going to start at the top, and I'm kind of starting in the middle. I'm going to do a couple here and there and do the other side. And then after that, the next thing to do is going to be cut out the actual toe kick. And then the sides should be completed, at least as far as what we need to do to prep them to put them together. It's now time to cut the 3 shelves. They're going to be 11 inches wide and 23, well actually one will be 23 1/4, and then the other two will be a little bit shorter because of the back. So let's get cutting. Let's get up to speed as to where we are on the tall pantry. We've cut the sides, we've cut the shelving, we've cut the dados, and we've also cut the holes for the shelving pegs. So basically it is put together. Now what's left, or the next step, not what's left necessarily because there's a few more steps, but the next step is going to be to add the face frame. So stay tuned.